Hi, thanks for joining me. It's Christine Crutcher from Create with Christine, and I'm here with another Tuesday tip video tutorial. For this week, I am using the Sailing Home stamp set from the 2019-2020 annual catalog. And we're going to be using the sailboat and the large sailboat, and then this sentiment right here. And I'm going to show you a technique using the pigment sprinkles. Here's the card we're going to make right here. And I'm wearing rubber gloves because this is going to get a little messy. So I'm going to get a stamp set and my card out of the way. I'm going to bring over some paper towels to try to protect my area. And then I have a Ziploc container that I'm going to use for my sprinkles. Actually, before I even do that, let me bring over the sprinkles. So they come in a little box like this. There are 6 Stampin' Up! Colors: Bermuda Bay, Melon Mambo, Granny Apple Green, Mango Melody, Gorgeous Grape, and Daffodil Delight. For this project, I'm going to use the Bermuda and the Melon. So now I can bring over my little Ziploc container. I'm just going to stamp the sailboat, but I just want to show you a couple things of what I did. So I want the bulk of my project to be Bermuda Bay for the boat, but I added a little bit of Melon Mambo too. So they have this little plastic cover on, but what I do is put a little tiny bit of washi tape over some of the holes so it doesn't all go flying out. Now I just add a few sprinkles, and literally a little bit goes a long way, so you don't think it's very much, but believe you me, it's plenty. And oops, I lost my washi on this one. Okay, I'm just going to add like a couple dashes of the Melon Mambo. And if I wanted to do this in a background, I did this one earlier with these colors. I actually put a piece of watercolor paper in here and then sprinkled on top. So here's one I did earlier. And then here's one I did earlier. So this one's kind of really Bermuda Bay once it's dry. This one's got a little bit more purple to it, so you can kind of see the differences. So I am going to bring over my Stampin' Spritzer. It just has regular water in it. And then I am just going to spritz in my container. You can see how I'm getting like the purple on this side and the blue on this side. So if I wanted to do a background for a card like this, you could actually start with the paper in the container and then just put it on top and then flip it over and mix it up really well. So that's actually a pretty fun way to do it. The other thing you could do is lay it in and then actually paint on it with your aqua painter, so without any water inside. So you get this really cool effects at the more water you add. And I want to try to get more of a darker blue than the Bermuda Bay. So what I was trying to do is take my aqua painter and actually mix up the colors. So that kind of gives, it's kind of giving a purpley over here, but we're kind of getting a darker blue here in the middle. But we could go wild and add a little bit more pink or red. But what I did with my sailboat is I brought over my sailboat stamp and I just kind of mixed up the colors in my tray here, and then I painted with my aqua painter right onto my stamp. And then I'm just going to stamp on the watercolor paper. This is the Fluid 100 watercolor paper. So see how you get a fun watercolored look? Then I would set that aside to let it dry. And Then once it's dry, you can cut it out with the framelits and assemble the rest of your card. So that's how I did that. And you can mix up these colors by kind of sort of putting them together to make kind of cool and wild backgrounds. But I really like how you can just color right onto your stamp and then use the colors. Oop, that just flew right in there, so that's gross. I'm just going to leave it in there at this point. I'm going to take off my gloves and try to assemble the rest of the card. I'm still going to cut out my sailboat once it's dry. But let me just show you the rest of the card really quick. So I have a piece of Whisper White that is 3 3/4 by 5, and I'm going to layer that up with a piece of Night of Navy that is 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. And then playing off the Bermuda Bay and the Pigment sprinkles, I decided to use a Bermuda Bay card base to adhere these two. And then I have a strip of the Come Sail Away Designer Series paper that coordinates with the stamp set and the framelit. So that Designer Series paper is 1 inch by 5 inches, and of course I use the one with the sailboats on it to match my stamp. So we'll just add this right on. And then I cut out a piece of Whisper White. This is the largest stitched framelits oval from the Stitch Shapes, and I'm just going to stamp a sentiment. I really like this sentiment because it matches, to me it kind of goes with the sailboat. Set sail in the direction of your dreams. So I just kind of stamped a Night of Navy over to one side, and then I put my sailboat on the other side once it's cut out. Whoops. So with the sailboat, you can either pop it up on dimensionals. I just use a little bit of liquid glue. But that's it. That's how simple. That's a little wet, and I can try to put my sailboat over that boo-boo now. So that is my project for this week. Before I finish up, I did want to say that I did take a class this weekend using these pigment sprinkles. I wanted to share my favorite project from the class. So we made this 6x6 canvas. So we had this whole piece of 5x5 watercolor paper that we did the background on, and I did it mainly in the Daffodil Delight with a little bit of, I think it was a little bit of Melon Mambo actually. But I really then did the flower in the Melon Mambo and the leaves in the Granny Apple Green. So I just really loved this project, so I wanted to share that quickly. We did the background by laying the watercolor paper right in our tray, but we painted the flower and the leaves by putting some sprinkles in a little tiny palette and then watercoloring them. So that was kind of fun. And then I made brown with the stem by just combining the pink and the green until I kind of got brown for the stem. So this is my card for today. I hope you'll check out the pigment sprinkles, and the best thing to do is just play around with them once you get them, but I hope you will consider trying them out. Please leave me a comment by Monday, August 26th for a chance to win this card in the mail from me. Thanks so much. I'll be back next week with another project to share.